meeting to order. Are there any adjustments to the agenda?
I don't have anything,
No?
I don't know why I put that in there.
but it's not, it's ours.
It's out.
Minutes from the prior meeting, I'll make a motion to accept.
So second.
All those in favor? Aye. Public comment. Sandy?
No.
No.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Are all of the executive sessions that have been happening monthly at this meeting related to legal matters?
I believe they all are.
They all are. I think at one of them, we discussed a personnel issue briefly in one of them, I believe.
So how many legal matters are there at this point that the town is dealing with?
We are involved in a lawsuit at this point in time and dealing with that and dealing with different aspects of that.
So there's one legal matter.
Yes.
And do we get a sense as to how much that's going to cost us?
We don't. It depends whether we can settle this or if we have to go to mediation or if we have to go to trial. It would all depend on how long and how much, what it turns to. So.
It just seems as if it's become a standard thing for there to be an executive session called, and as if the statement that Sandy pulls off the board and reads, it sort of becomes kind of a pat thing that becomes pretty automatic, and it just concerns me because it hadn't been the practice of this board a while back. So I just want to raise some questions and ask that things be shared with the public when appropriate.
Certainly we could share it with you when it's resolved, what the outcome and such is, but while it's still pending and while we're communicating with our attorney and stuff, it's a matter that shouldn't be.
Right, I understand that, but understanding that there's just one legal matter that's going on at this point is
That's
good to know.
what we've been dealing with.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
been dealing with it for far too long, probably.
Yeah.
And you know, the lawyers send us things, we have to go over them. We can't do that in open session.
Right, got it.
Jim? Yeah. Yeah.
And I have a question for the Housing Rehabilitation Board. When is the best place to ask that?
That would probably be when the Housing Rehabilitation Board met.
Okay.
And we don't have a set time for that. It's usually when somebody calls upon it that they call a meeting. So if you have a question for them, we could call a meeting.
Okay. Yeah, I have a question about if some repair work done to a building of mine by a car crash might be able, if I could maybe ask for a loan until I get restitution from the person who caused the damage. I don't know if that's the general
So you
question.
have to call me.
Yeah, we could call a meeting and go from there. Mike? Dennis?
Yeah, I think this subject came up before. I would like to see the executive session move to the end of the meeting because, you know, like last month after the executive session was called, everybody left, Fact TV left, and then there were some discussions after that. So I would like to see the executive session held at the very end and have Fact TV stay here till that end.
All right, anything else?
Is it a decision or?
We usually have it near the end of the meeting. The two last things are public comments on the agenda, and that it wouldn't come before that, it would come after that. The executive session should come after that. And then any further business or adjourn, and that's where we have it.
Well, if you recall last month, you and I had a thing about you withholding your vote for me for the meeting house. And you wouldn't say anything, but after the executive session, when most people were gone, and I think you sent Fact TV on its way,
I did not, but
well, I asked him to stay, and you kind of told him he could go. And I think there were some important discussions after that
okay.
that should be recorded.
All right, anything else?
That'll be it.
All right, Darrell.
We have the new lock in the door, so if there's anybody here that doesn't have a key yet, see me after the meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Or even during the meeting, if they want to leave early or anything.
Yeah.
All right. We'll go on to boards and officials. Sandy?
Yep.
Not too much. We had our winter break at Marlborough College, and that's always an all-consuming time for me. So I haven't made any progress on file cabinet locks, on cemetery stuff, on town office stuff. Nothing. The only thing I can say is that on the Union High School board, we did approve a budget to forward to the voters. Its bottom line is higher. I don't remember the percentages, or it's a couple $100,000. I can get these numbers for February. Most of the budget is level funded. The two big things are, and they're both at the supervisory union: special education and other special needs. The individual education plans that are not necessarily special ed, but taking our best guess at what those needs are going to be a year in advance. So we have a higher number for that this year. And the other thing on the supervisory union level, we're doing something different with food service. They're taking it in-house and trying for better quality, local sourcing, things like that. And the high school share of that is an additional $58,000, and that's pretty much a guess number. You're going to have to run the program for a year or two before we're going to know what the true costs are. Athens' share appears to be the same or a little bit lower than last year because of the way the school funding works. So I'll try to have a little more clarity next month at the February Selectboard meeting.
Okay. All right. Sharon?
Not really much new at this point. I believe you did get the report that we left with Darlene. That was for the auditors at the last meeting. That was found.
Yes.
And we've changed our meetings to the third Monday of the month. And I checked it with Darlene. That seems to be clear on the calendar, so that's when we're meeting now. And we're basically getting ready for discussion of meeting house needs at town meeting.
Jim? No?
I have some drafts of stuff of the budget and financial reports for the town report. They're not complete yet. I don't know if you guys would like to see where they are and comment now.
Why don't we do that when we do the approving the budget and the warning?
Oh, that's on the agenda?
It's on the agenda.
Okay, we can see that.
What? Roads.
All good right now. Everything seems to be running. Just playing with Mother Nature. Whatever she does, we have to go take care of. We got one driveway culvert that is causing trouble with that road. I've done as much as I think we should do on it. Now I think it's up to the landowner. We've helped him put fluoride in it and everything else, and it's not taking it. It's either caved in or something. I've been out to grade and ditch down two sides of the road twice so that it stays out of the road. I don't know how much you want us to really do on a driveway culvert.
Should be the
Homeowners.
homeowners.
I told him a week ago he needs to get somebody with a steamer and see if he can get it steamed up through. I think it's caved in, but he says he don't think it is, so and he hasn't done nothing yet. And then one of the kids getting on a school bus fell down and broke his hand right there on the ice right going across the road. So I had Matthew go out and sand the ice thing, and I dug the ditch out with a grader again, and we sanded the driveway across the road where the kid fell going down in there. So I personally think it's up to him to take it from here.
Well, I think you should talk to him and say that that's the feeling of the board, that we need to do it. Or if not, if it's gonna interfere with the road, that if we have to do it, we will send him a bill for putting a new culvert in.
You know, if it was a driveway culvert in the town ditch, it'd be one thing. But it's a driveway culvert that drains his pond and his property behind, so it's off on the road like 25 feet. So that's, if it was right in the town ditch, I could see us doing more, but that far out of the ditch, and it's not really town water.
So, is he gonna be receptive to that? I mean, did they drive over it
Well,
for it to be crushed?
so I keep digging across his driveway and taking the ice out, he's gonna have to do something, because he won't be able to get in his driveway. I got a hump out there now that deep.
Just tell them that we need it fixed, and either they do it or we put it through.
Matt and I've tried to help him as much that I feel that we should.
What's your feeling on that?
I think the homeowner needs to take care of it, and if the town is gonna take care of it, then we'll bill him. We'll give him a certain period of time to remedy the situation.
So do you want?
I'll talk to him when we get to my house.
All right.
Do you need us to put something to say that Tom can go ahead and do it with that?
I'll make a motion that Tom deal with the situation there as best he thinks, and if he does need to do something to keep the road open there and safe.
I would suggest just go out with the grader and cut the ice out every day until he does something. It's gonna get to the point where he's not gonna get in his driveway.
Well, I would like you to keep track of that time that you spend on it, because he eventually will have to pay for that.
Yep.
All right. So I'll make that a motion that Tom be to deal with that situation.
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And you can get with us if we have to do more. We can go with it. All right. Budget and warning approval for town meeting.
So this is, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, I should make some copies. I just printed this out. The original.
All right.
I don't know that.
And these have the things that we discussed last meeting.
It does. So I'm still working on formatting it. I think it looks a little bit nicer. It's a different font than when it prints out of Nimerick. And I've removed the numbers from the left-hand side, like all the account numbers, because they're not going to be meaningless to the general public, like what we use for accounting. But there's a few more things that I want to do. It's not super clear. Like before I came here, I drew a box around that upper figure, which is the taxes that need to be raised.
It does look very nice. It looks very nice.
Doesn't look nice enough. But thank you.
Well, look, if you consider what it comes out of a
When
report.
this goes in the town report, it's gonna be bigger print than this, all the same.
Uh-oh. I was going to make it smaller so it's fewer pages. Keep it the same.
I don't know, I heard a lot of complaints last year. that
Large
couldn't see
print. Yeah. Well, this is bigger than last
It
year's.
is bigger than last year.
Do you want one, Darlene?
Sure.
I might need to make another copy for
Okay.
myself.
Can I have a copy so I can?
Yeah, we're gonna take a couple more. Can I have the original one back so I'm not copying copy? I'll trade you. Okay. 5 copies. So one thing that's not super clear on there is the way the surplus was applied to offset the taxes. And so it already has been, so that number that we're trying to raise in taxes has already had that surplus removed from it. You just see at the very bottom line on the last page that it shows the deficit from this year equaling the surplus from last year. So that's just how I figured it out, but I don't think it's the clearest way to present it to people. I was gonna kind of move that stuff around to the top so people could see, like, here's the total taxes minus the surplus from last year that we need to get to raise.
So, kind of, this is on 4 pages right now. I think if you did make the font a little bigger, it still wouldn't really add that much to the town report because there's a lot of other stuff, accounting that was in there that we're not going to need to do.
Okay.
So,
But I'm not sure you're gonna be able to get it, is it gonna line up if you...
I'll print it on the laser printer here, which is a much better printer than my home printer, so it'll be darker.
what, you know what number is this, like a candle? I don't think it's a
I
12.
think it's an 11.
11?
It looks like 11, yeah.
So a couple other things I was going to do is take out rows that are all zeros all the way across, because if there's never been a budget or an expense for them, we probably just don't need to show people. And anybody else want a copy?
All right, I'll make a motion that we accept this with the,
There's a few, well, they're really not corrections, it's just reformatting it, right?
It's totally reformatting
with,
it.
yeah, with the reformatted version.
On the last page where the voted articles go, there's just a big blank right now. I was gonna just make those like boxes, like outline the Excel grid, so it's kind of clear that those need to get filled in through the voted articles. It's a formatting thing, but in the same with the meeting house and cemetery commissions lines that don't have anything on them right now, but I'm sorry, the cemetery commission has the town office renovation and the meeting house that don't have their figures in there. Just sort of put a empty box. Last page.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can you not put the meeting house figure in?
No, because you haven't voted on it yet.
Oh, I see.
Right, like anything that's voted on as a separate article, we can't put in here. Because this is getting voted on as a budget, separate from all of the other ones.
So you can't put in the amounts that are being proposed in the town meeting
Well, we haven't had
warrants?
them. I guess maybe we have them.
And then be able to calculate what you, I mean, so if it all goes through as said here, this is what we would be looking to raise and appropriate.
Except there's usually changes. Sometimes some are raised, sometimes they're lowered or voted down. So
Right.
I think the blank boxes would be reasonable because you're going to have, it's going to show in the warning with your special article, what you want for the meeting house.
We never put the proposed, the voted articles in the budget because we never know.
I'm sorry.
The voted articles never go in the budget because they're all separate.
Right, it's just that if somehow or another it was there and was noted, you know, the estimate or proposed or whatever, so that when you get to the bottom, you're getting a complete figure for what's being asked to be raised, rather than saying, oh, well, then we're gonna put another 20 some odd, whatever, add all these up to it.
But
I just think it'd be more.
it is, they're voted on separately. I mean, I think just to be consistent with how it has been done, if we're saying we want to raise $399,134.30 in taxes as the budget, and then the next article is about meeting house, and the next article is about, I mean, that's how it gets added on.
Yeah, no, I agree that it probably should not be in there, just, I mean, it would be a confusing thing, and then people would have to add and subtract out of the budget, and wouldn't know if those figures were in there.
I agree that what we're doing and what we've been doing is the only reasonable approach. Maybe what would help if we figured $1,000 or $10,000 impacted the tax rate by so much. Maybe that would help people figure out.
Yeah, I'm not sure that should necessarily go in the budget. It certainly could go in the book, but
Or maybe
Probably
say,
part of the floor
You
discussion.
can't vote on what we're gonna raise for taxes. You can't put that money in that category until it's all gone out.
correct, but maybe we could make a note saying the additional, if voted on the way printed, the additional articles would add X amount of dollars to the budget so that people have a general idea. But like, and that would just be really general, because if they go up and down, which they often do.
yeah, I mean, I think we should leave it. I mean, this is clear that this is our budget that we're putting forward, and then the voted articles
Are all separate.
Are all separate, So I made a motion to accept this with the reformatting that Hannah will be doing with it. Is there a second?
Yeah.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Have we received any other
Petitions.
petitions for the one? I didn't bring my copy there of it. Do you have one for us to sign tonight?
Oh, no, I don't.
You don't? Okay.
Oh, hey, wait a minute. We'll have to run to the auditor. I can make another copy.
Oh, Darlene,
Yeah.
didn't we put in 3 here? Was it supposed to be 3?
3.
Not to exceed 3 years.
Oh, yeah, the 3 needs to be put in there. I can do that.
No, I see this is not in the information for the town.
get those figures changed?
That's the amount that we're at.
The dog.
Yeah.
For taxes. The top line is the top line for revenues. So if I had more in the back, in order for to balance them.
That was just the dog one.
I would have to add it to the taxes.
No, I get all.
In order for this
Delinquent
document
tax.
to work
Yeah.
as a
What?
balance.
Yeah.
Did you want?
No, remember? For 2014, had what's his name on the delinquent tax list, he's not on the delinquent tax list. Did you go back to 2014?
I haven't changed that yet.
Oh, okay.
Those are some
So
sticky
that's
stickers.
good. But you have to go through a meeting to get that, because there really is no abatement. He never owed it. Okay.
Because they go into other funds, transfers to other departments.
Draft and base, all right. That's all good.
No, just that.
Yep.
I can change that at home and make a new report for the town report.
That's fine, but we can still vote on it like this.
You want to see? I will make a motion to accept the warning as presented.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And,
I'll just make that one change.
okay.
Did you, get a call from some woman and figure out what she wanted? Some Jessica?
Jessica?
She said she sent the paperwork all here.
Four.
Oh, yes, we did that.
That
Solar.
Solar.
that solar thing?
We'll get to that in the mail then. So we'll move on to the warrants and mail. We have the certificate of mileage, for the state for the year ending February 10th. And I think we're all set with that. Why don't we make a motion to sign that?
For February, ending February 10th, 2018.
Yes,
That's mileage of
Oh, I
all
guess
roads?
I do.
mileage of all roads.
All roads, okay.
So you make a motion that
We'll accept
that we
that.
accept that and sign it. All those, I'll second.
So when we pay 35, that won't change because it's still,
I'm still on a mileage map, so it won't
Yeah,
change.
it won't change that, no. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I seconded that.
Yep.
Um,
With no changes, right? So we have to check
No
that.
changes,
We have to
no.
check that out.
warrants. Sign.
I'll see if they send me back a copy of this, but maybe I'll make a copy.
Make a
of it.
copy,
Make
yeah.
a copy, but yeah, I think they did once they sign it. Approve it. Yeah, and we had the notice for the Carroll Concrete, we signed that for the overweight permit. And the notice from the Solar City that they wanted information. We signed that as well. Anything else for warrants or mail?
Nope.
All right, I'm not sure that we need an executive session.
You ain't heard nothing on nothing.
A little, but not enough to drive everybody out. Go to select board comments?
Not at this time.
The only thing I got is the little truck that's gotta go to Boston Stevens. The heater in the DPS tank went to hell. So he's fixed that, but when that went to hell, it burnt a element that was going to the injection pump. And he's gotta put that in. That part hasn't come in yet, but I need to have Darlene have the permission to pay that bill when it comes in.
All right, I will make a motion that we pay that bill when it comes in. give Darlene the authority to pay them?
Yeah,
Do you know how
Yeah,
much?
Dorothy, do you have any idea?
I got no idea. I don't know how much I don't think it'll be very much. He only had it up there, the first time, he only had it up there like 3 hours. He had it all in.
Right.
It's just that truck, everything is computerized on it, and if you don't have the machine to put it on the computer, you chase looking for the problem forever.
All right.
And he's good on them diesels.
All right, I make a motion that we allow Darlene to pay it when that bill comes in.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
All right.
Now is it because she's rusting out underneath there and
No,
stuff?
it's just electrical, it's just,
But the electrical
Oh,
isn't
yeah, the phone bill.
it's,
from the salt and stuff?
So
No,
I actually
it's
have a comment.
that heat pump's inside the tank.
Okay.
And most of the times when one electrical goes, it'll affect another one, the way they got the DEF tank, so to stop the pollution.
Did we ever get an answering machine on the town garage phone?
Like that.
Okay.
Did we vote on that to do that?
Well, I wasn't sure if we actually voted on it or if we should vote on it in
All
this
right.
meeting.
Let's make a motion
So
that,
I make the motion that Tom contact VTEL and get an answering service added to the phone for the town garage.
I will second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All right, I don't have anything at this point. We'll go public comments on agenda. Dennis? Yeah?
I don't, but I realized that there was one thing I forgot to ask about in the beginning before. I know last month there was a request of a mailing list for notice of meetings. And I would like to be on that if there is such a list being put together.
I think that Darlene was gonna start one, but I don't know if we have yet or not.
We haven't started one yet, no.
Why don't
So
we-
I don't know who wants to be on it.
Why don't we give just get a paper and get people's email address?
Yeah, we need the email address.
And
Write down your email address for the list.
so if there's any special meetings that are called, we can send out an email to that list and
Great.
Darlene can get it.
And Darlene, I'd also just ask that when you're when you're taking the minutes for these meetings, if you could include me on the list of those, I'd appreciate that.
The
Thank
only proviso that and then you understand this, I'm sure, but those, when Darlene sends the minutes out, they're not the approved
Right.
minutes.
They're unofficial.
They're the draft.
Yep. I'll lose my pen. I'm gonna take the pencil back, Jimmy. No, you can use it, but if I pass it on from you, I'll probably use it.
All right, Don?
I want to thank the Budget Committee and the new auditors for all the work they've been doing this past year and working on that.
They have done an
Yeah.
excellent job.
Kudos to the road crew. For the winter maintenance.
We've all made it home.
Yes.
Monday and Tuesday might not though.
All right. Is there any further business?
You wanna ask you?
You want me to ask you?
Yeah.
Okay, the auditors found when they were starting to do the delinquent taxes that there was a, what was it?
Oh, yeah.
Stephen McAllister.
Was for 2014. He was never on the delinquent tax list.
So this was something that was left on the computer
So-
when I took over. And
Okay.
I've been, and when we had the abatement meeting, you said try to get the money from him. And I've been sending
Bills.
bills to him every month, and I have not had any response at all.
All right, but he doesn't owe it?
They found they.
He's never, well, I have to go back and look in the tax book for 2014, but we've never had him on, we didn't have him on the 2004, in the town report, 2015 report, 16 report. Why all of a sudden he's gonna be in on the 17th for year 14, I have no idea.
Is it a clerical error, you believe?
It's gotta be something in the computer.
We've had a few issues with that. How much was it?
$20-something.
Yeah. It was
Do you need to have a board of abatement meeting, or can we just?
I think if it's shown that he doesn't owe it, I don't see why you would need a Board of Abatement
Okay.
meeting.
Yeah, because
I would think it would just-
I don't really want to put him in the town report if he doesn't,
If
you
he
know,
doesn't owe it, he shouldn't be in
he
there.
shouldn't be in it. You know, he's the type of guy that just might want to raise a little bit of hell if his name's there.
But if he doesn't owe it, he shouldn't be in there, so.
Okay, well, I can fix that on the computer.
Is that reasonable with you?
Yep.
If he doesn't owe it?
I didn't send the bill out this month until we get this straightened out.
Okay.
But he hasn't contacted you saying,
Nope.
why am I getting these bills?
Nope.
All right. Any further business? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes, we do.
I will second that. All in favor? Aye.
The three of us can agree